You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 28th, 2023 meeting of the LaPorte County Council. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accessLaPorteCounty.org.
Good evening.
In progress.
Good evening. I call the LaPorte County Council regular meeting, August 28th, 2023 to order. Please turn off all cell phones. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilman Rosenbaum.
Present.
Councilman Novak.
Present.
Councilman Karanka.
Present.
Councilman Cunningham.
Present.
Councilman Yagelski.
Present.
Councilman Keel.
Present.
And Councilman Allnauer.
Present.
All seven are present.
Approval of the August 28, 23 agenda.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda with 2 or maybe 3 corrections. Under ordinances and resolutions, add ordinance establishing a pretrial diversion fund and an ordinance establishing an infraction deferral fund. Those are matters for the prosecutor. And then under old business, to strike all items under old business as the training has not been done for the job evaluation committee at this time.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion?
Mr. President, on page 4 of the agenda, where we have LaPorte County Highway Department, the $1.5 million to be marked as not to exceed.
Thank you.
I would agree to amend my motion to include that.
I amend my second.
Okay, we've got that in there. No? Anybody else? Hearing no other comments, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it. Thank you. Approval of the minutes, the July 17, 2023 Joint Council Commissioner Workshop Meeting Minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it. Approval of the minutes for July 24, 2023, the regular meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Hearing none, motion carries. We now open for public comment. So we'll first start with people in the audience here, and then we'll also look if somebody puts up a hand on the on Zoom. Okay? Yes. There's somebody right behind you first. 1, 2, 3.
Hi, I'm a first timer. My name is Scott Melland. I have a question or concern about all the license plate readers going up in the county. Mostly why. I'm told it's to help solve crimes. I'd like to know what crimes have been facilitated and being solved by these license plate readers. What is the data retention policy of the data they're collecting? Who controls that data? I think these are important actual constitutional questions that involve the Fourth Amendment and our right to free travel, which is a long established constitutional right.
Yeah.
Let it finish.
I understand we have no expectation of privacy in public, but we do have an expectation of not being tracked. I think that's a different thing. I think we have a right not to be surveilled. So again, that's my main thing. I don't know why we have them. I don't know why they're sprouting up like mushrooms. I don't know who controls the data. I don't know how long the data is being retained. Who asked for it? Did the sheriff ask for it? Or did a private company offer them to us at a pretty low per unit price? Because data is valuable in today's world. And I feel we should be able to travel throughout the counties without the government knowing that I'm crossing Barker Avenue or that I've crossed Johnson Road in 39. I don't feel comfortable with this. I don't think it's appropriate. I'd like answers to these questions.
Yeah,
Mr. President? Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead, go ahead.
Just real quick, unless I'm wrong, I know I live in Michigan City, they're in Michigan City everywhere, and they're everywhere, but the county is not applied to any as far as I know.
The council not the one that approves that. And the sheriff's, this is the one, you came to the one meeting that the sheriff isn't at this year.
Yeah, he makes everyone otherwise.
But he'd be the one to answer the questions, but the commissioners have more jurisdiction over things like that. We're just the fiscal body. And it hasn't come before us this year for funding, so.
Are you aware of any in the county outside of the city limits of LaPorte and the city limits of Michigan City?
I'm not, but I have seen them in Porter County as well. It feels to be, I know it's not this county.
We don't
There's one on US
I think
30.
that's what they're saying is
I think there might be one, but
there are some of them on the major highways, and I think that's for drug interdiction. And 94 and 30, I think, both have them. Am I correct? The state highway has put them on some of the state highways for drug interdiction, as I understand.
I believe the county did approve a couple years ago some of these cameras, but it was funded with HIDA funding, so meant for catching drug trafficking.
I believe that's who's funding it is HIDA, but
Ida.
The gentleman asked about what they're good for. I know two crimes that they solved recently. One was a bank robbery in La Crosse, and another one was a stabbing up in Michigan City, and I'm sure there's many others. But to me, I think the cameras are probably about the best thing law enforcement's got going for it right now, but that's my opinion.
I disagree.
I disagree with you, so.
I don't feel surveilling 100,000 people to solve two crimes is a good cost
Mr.
benefit.
President,
Well, there's been more than one or two. I just knew about those two, but I'm sure there's been many more. But like they mentioned, talk to the sheriff. I'm sure he can tell you.
How can I talk to the sheriff?
Mr. President, real quick,
Colin.
do you understand how the cameras work?
The license plate readers are looking at license plates. They're not even looking at people.
Okay, so the ones that that are familiar with, I'm familiar with one city. There are a bunch of them. They're not license plate readers. Those are shot fired. They only turn on when they hear the shots fired. I've been through all Michigan City. I've actually talked to the mayors and the chief of police on this. Those are shot fire type things. They're not just to survey on those. They're not just to look at license plates. So those things that I actually have one on one of my properties that they put on. That's why I asked. So the 15 that I know I talked about, they're all shots fired. And when a shot fired, they will record for that period of time. But they're not there for purpose of like you said.
Again, data retention, who controls the data, how long is it retained for?
We're not the board, we're not the board for that.
Mr. Mellon?
I understand.
We don't normally entertain back and forth conversations, so the next people who come up, I'm just letting you know that. But in the meantime, you asked very interesting questions and you brought up some interesting things. And unfortunately, we have no other choice but to suggest that you call the sheriff's office, and either he or somebody else in his office can certainly give you more answers, because they're the ones who, if there's any data collection, they would be the ones to know.
I appreciate the back and forth.
I'm sorry that we can't do better.
Be
than
happy
that.
to give you his number after the meeting.
Thanks for entertaining my concern. I meant to start off by saying this might be the wrong forum, but thanks for hearing
You
me.
never know until you ask. So,
Thank you.
anybody else from the public? And I see somebody else coming up.
My name is Tim Grieve, and I'm not going to be back and forth. I just wanted to say, I'm happy to see that the sheriff's department is taking applications, but I would hope that as the funding body, that you guys would also make sure that he has the funds that he needs to not only pay to hire those officers, but to update equipment as it's needed and everything else. Because I'll tell you what, I got experience in law enforcement, and I can tell you, a department that doesn't have the money that it needs, you're gonna have more problems than it's worth. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And if you, I'm just going to go with that. We certainly can talk after the meeting about more things. Is there anybody else from the public that would like to speak? Seeing none on Zoom, seeing none in the audience, we are closing public comment. Department head reports. Anybody, any department heads that would like to come up and speak?
Thank you, Mr. President. Matt Reardon, Office of Economic Development. Just a quick FYI, as we're proceeding towards trying to continue with broadband expansion, I would urge, and ironically, those residents that might be watching this on their device or actually on TV, but if you go to the website, the county's website, there is a survey on the website about broadband. It also urges you to take a broadband test. Why would you want to do this? This helps us as a county collect more information that we share with the state. The state then makes determinations as to which chunks of funding will go to where in the state and which service providers will get those funds. So at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is to assist and make sure people have the opportunity to get the best internet access they can. So anyway, it's the LaPorte County website. It's right on the first page. Click that, and please take the test. We're going to be collecting that information through September 15th.
And I just want to echo, it's imperative that this get done because that's more dollars that comes to LaPorte County.
Right, and so what we're trying to do is add to a list that's existing. I think it was reported at a meeting that there were, in any event, let me correct the record. There's about 6,000 households that show up on this list of kind of challenged or areas that are tough to serve, and then there's really only less than 100 on a different list that said these are areas that will be served. So the more information we have, the more that's provided to the state entities. And as we transition from the current internet program to the BEAD program next year, there's $800 million available in the state of Indiana. So the idea is let's try and work cooperatively and provide as much information as we can to the state.
Mr. Yagowski.
Mr. Reardon, have you contacted? Sorry. Have you contacted? We have WIMS, and I know Stan Maddox is on it right now for his station.
We will do that.
Because I haven't heard anything like that. They love news
Public
articles.
service announcement.
Yeah.
We'll get on that,
Okay.
Councilman.
Just want to add, could you reiterate the public hearing that we had, the public meeting that was a week or two ago, where the state people came in, that these funds don't actually come to the county of LaPorte County? We don't take possession of any of these funds? Could you just mention that?
Just to underscore what was discussed at the meeting, we had the two department heads for the state of Indiana up here, Ernie Holtree and Graham Fischels, and just wanted to just make sure everybody's clear on this. You as the fiduciary for the county do not control the money. You don't control where it goes. You don't control anybody's internet speed. What we are doing is providing information to the state, and the state, in partnership with the internet service providers, are going to be making these decisions as to where these things are. So the more information we provide, the more opportunity we have to inform the internet service providers around this particular area, that these are areas we would like to see served and moving forward. So just to clear the air on that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Great, thank you.
Any other department heads that'd like to speak at this time? Steve,
That's Steve Irick. And left
did you want to speak or? Yep, please. Unmute.
I just wanted to tell you guys, thank you very much. The Adult Probation Department of LaPorte is now back in our offices, and we're adapting and unpacking. And I know that you all were very instrumental in helping our department to get back to its LaPorte headquarters. And you know, the staff are really happy about the fact that they're back in, but I think the community is going to be better served knowing that officers are able to oversee and administer their cases locally rather than having people head over to Michigan City.
Thank you for your comments. Judge Freeman, did you want to add something?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to echo what Mr. Irick said on behalf of all of the judges. Thank you, as well as the commissioners, for making the probation office renovation a priority. It's as Mr. Irick said, extremely important for the patrons that they serve. So again, on behalf of all the judges, I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you as well for your comments. We appreciate that. Any other comments from anybody else? Okay. Seeing none, I'm going to close the department reports and go to liaison reports. I'm going to go to Mike Mullenhour first.
Okay, thank you. July 26th, they attended Solid Waste District Board meeting, and the same day, the Rail and RDC meeting that afternoon. On August 2nd, attended the quarterly LaPorte County Government Employee Insurance meeting with representatives from General Insurance. And also, I think some of us I know attended the annual agriculture tour that night at the museum, and just wanted to thank Farm Bureau and the museum for hosting that event. It was a terrific thing to see again, as far as the museum anyway. I haven't been in there for a while, and if anybody hasn't been, get in there and take a look at it. There's a lot of changes. Spoke with EMS Director Andrew McGuire a little earlier this week, or last week I guess it was, and he's here tonight for his request. And one other thing, I don't know if anybody's had the opportunity to drive past the down Hupp Road there in Kingsbury Industrial Park. They're beginning to construct a new railroad trestle. So it's looking good, and it's great to see, and I think that's all I've got. Thank you.
Mr. Karanka, please.
Besides meeting with or speaking with various department heads about their requests for tonight or just general business at hand, I too was at the row crop event at the Historical Museum, and also met with two potential HR candidates with Councilman Novak in Kiel, as well as Commissioner Rosinski.
Mr. Novak.
Attended the RDC, the FMEC, the Animal Control, Complex Flooding a meeting with the commissioners regarding their budget. Sat down with Diane, and I think we're very close to having some of those issues resolved. The 911 Advisory Board. The row crop thing was a great thing out there. In an event that happened this last weekend, and the only reason I'm saying this, it's not a liaison report, but Special Olympics had a fire truck pull out at the fairgrounds. There was LaPorte and Michigan City were the only two groups there, and it's a fantastic cause. And we're hoping to build it and make it even better next year to raise money for the Special Olympics. So that's my plug.
Thank you for that note. I'm going to go to Mr. Keel.
I'll probably pass on my liaison report this month. Most of the stuff that I attended to has already been mentioned by the other three councilmen so far. So, for Mr. Yagowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee I was appointed to for Michigan City Economic Development, the one time only. So we met, and I got sworn in, and that was the end of our meeting after that. So all we did was we appropriated we authorized appropriation for the Michigan City projects for the railroad. That's something that was written back in the 60s, and they never took it off the books, so that's why we had to form our committee. So it was a tough meeting. So I was appointed president. It's like, so anyway, thank you.
Congratulations for being president of the day.
Yeah, for the day.
Okay. Mr. Cunningham.
I'll waive on the liaison report, but I would like to let the record reflect as Mr. Irick and Magistrate Friedman are giving the entire council credit. I would certainly defer any credit to Mr. Yagowski, because he was far more vocal on that issue than I was, and I'm sure it expedited by several weeks, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm just going to add that I've attended several of these events, not all of them, and we'll go and move on from there. Moving on to correspondence.
Councilman, we've received correspondence from, I'm not making this up, Mr. George E. Washington, 127 Ridgeland Avenue, Michigan City, regarding a property tax issue that he had with his property being put up for tax sale. His letter was actually addressed to Frank Mervan, member of Congress, 1st District. And so we also received a letter from Congressman Mervan drawing our attention to that matter and asking us to, asking you and the commissioners to review that matter. If you'd like me to read both letters.
Nope, yeah, we're good there. Okay.
Question.
Yes, sir.
After reviewing the information, it seems to me it's kind of like the former tax issue we had. If it's a county's mistake, if you send a letter out to a person's address with no city, it's not going to arrive. They have the authority to waive the penalties and interest, is that correct?
Penalties and interest can be waived by the mutual agreement of the treasurer and the auditor. Not taxes, though.
Was that the case in this issue where the letter specifically states that it wasn't addressed properly, it went to a street address, but there was no city listed, city or zip code?
We don't have a determination on it yet.
Mr. Auditor, could you work with the treasurer and see if there's anything that can be resolved on that? Sounds like this is an elderly veteran who ended up having to buy back property that he had not been notified on.
Yes, we'll meet with the treasurer, discuss it, report back by email if that works for you.
Thank you. Perfect.
Okay, hearing no more correspondence, we're gonna move on to a public hearing. We are, it's for the Economic Revitalization Area for S&G Partners LLC Real Estate and Saman Company, Inc., doing business as Peepers by Peepers Specs. So we're gonna open the public, do you want to discuss it first, and then we'll have it for public comment?
Thank you, Mr. President. Matt Reardon, Office of Economic Development. This company, S&G, had made application for tax abatement a handful of years ago, and then working with the council attorney, Guy DiMartino, it was determined they probably should refresh the creation of the economic revitalization area in order to make sure that we are being consistent. And that was done last month. I believe the council approved the declaratory resolution creating this area. And I know there's a representative here, Mr. Novak is here from the company, that he might want to give a little bit more detail once the public hearing starts. But that's the purpose for the public hearing and the declaratory or confirmatory resolution creating the area.
So we move now right into public hearing. If there's anybody that would like to speak or discuss or ask questions about this.
Anthony Novak. I'm an attorney with Newby, Lewis, Kaminsky & Jones. I am representing the two applicants tonight. Alongside me is John Hart, the VP of Operations at Peepers. And I won't take long. Two specific entities, one that holds real estate, one that operates the business. So S&G Partners owns the real estate. Salmon Company, doing business as Peepers, operates the business as purchasing equipment. So this may look familiar to you. They were actually in front of you last year requesting an abatement. It was in February and March of last year. We're back as a formality, both to clean up the resolution and to now they have an update of specifically what they're looking at with building and the equipment that they're purchasing. So first, one of the reasons we're here, when I looked at the declaratory resolution last year, they own two pieces of land. One where the existing the existing offices and distribution center is, and then an additional one they purchased to build about a 34,000 square foot expansion. The resolution last year was a bit confusing and only designated the old parcel to be an economic revitalization area, so we're cleaning that up. Ultimately, with respect to Peepers and the project, they're a fourth generation family owned company. They sell it and available at 7,000 retailers. Beyond the retail shop on Highway 212 heading into New Buffalo, they have a 23,000 square foot distribution center that was completed in 2019. 21, they purchased 2 additional acres, and they're going to build an additional 34,000 square foot facility with plans to invest about $3 million in that construction. They're hoping to break ground in the next couple months, purchase equipment over the end of 23 and 24, and then have things officially up and running in 24 and 25. On the personal property side, they are buying a bunch of different qualifying equipment, $110,000 worth of manufacturing equipment, $520,000 worth of logistical distribution equipment, and $125,000 worth of IT equipment. So we're talking about roughly a $3 million real estate investment and almost a $700,000 personal property investment. This will obviously increase the size of the company. They currently employ 81 employees, 55 of which live in this county. looking to employ an additional 30 employees, and they pay salaries with those additional ones of about 1.5 million. These numbers are higher than what was projected last year, showing the success that they're having. So ultimately, and I'll get a little technical here, what we're looking for tonight, there was a declaratory resolution adopted last month, which we are seeking to replace a resolution that was adopted in February of last year, and I have the specific resolution. And then ultimately asking tonight at this public hearing a confirmatory resolution adopted that would replace the confirmatory resolution of last year, ultimately approving the ERA and then approving the real estate and the personal property abatements. So that's the legal kind of component. John's here if you guys have any specific questions on the project or the company.
Thank you for that synopsis. Anybody have any questions?
Our attorney at this time then, so you've already went through their newest proposal.
Yep, everything's in order. You have your statement of benefits. Matt and I have gone through everything.
So we can ask to be read tonight?
Yes, but right now we're in the middle of the public hearing, so.
I didn't hear public hearing call, that's why I was asking questions yet. Okay, we can actually do it tonight if we had to.
I think it's next.
It's on, okay, right?
In the past, we put them together. Now,
Separate, okay.
Is there any comments? Yes, go ahead.
One quick comment as a retired teacher and Michigan City school system. Every time I see Kelly Bremer on one of your national advertisements, I can tell you make every teacher in Michigan City proud.
I see no comments on Facebook. Anybody here?
That's not Facebook.
I'm sorry. Zoom. God. I do not have it on. I'm not watching Facebook.
Everybody out there is going.
Yeah.
See, look at that.
Wow. Okay, no one on Zoom, nobody in the audience. I'm going to close the public hearing. Okay, we move on to the next part of our meeting, which is ordinance and resolutions. The very first one is resolution number 2023-08, confirmatory resolution for S&G Partners LLC for real estate and Salmon Company Inc. doing business as Peepers by Peeper Specs, Economic Revitalization Area.
Mr. President, make a motion to read 2023-08 by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Can we do both of this?
All those in
it's a
favor, please.
resolution. You only need one. You're good.
Okay. Any discussion? Further? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any nays? Okay, motion carries. Please read it by title only.
This is a confirmatory resolution, a resolution of the LaPorte County Council determining that the qualifications for an economic revitalization area have been met and confirming a declaratory resolution adopted by the LaPorte County Council.
Mr. President, make a motion to approve resolution number 2023-08.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Question.
We have comment?
Comment. Mr. Attorney, do I have a conflict with voting on this with my nephew?
You do not.
Thank you.
He didn't give you an envelope earlier or anything like that, right? We saw one envelope pass over here.
Better check.
Okay. You're good to go.
Absolutely not. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Thank you. We move on to ordinance number 2023-08A, an ordinance to adopt a request to use Recorder's Perpetuation Fund to cover office expenses and salaries.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for ordinance number 2023-088 to be read by title only.
Second.
Excuse me, members of the council, are you going to do this in two readings? So you're going to carry this over again to next month?
Or you mean what, the first resolution? Or the
No, this is an ordinance.
The ordinance. Yeah.
This is an ordinance, yes.
Okay, then Mr. President, let me pull it back. Then I'd like to make a motion to declare that we read both, that we do both correspond, both titles today.
How about we do with this? How about a motion to suspend the rule?
Motion to suspend the rule.
There you go.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rule to reading it in two different meetings. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Okay, now, sir.
May I read ordinance number 2023?
One sec, just so Ella's not here, this is a ordinance that you all put in place every year, allowing the perpetuation fund for the public to be used to pay for some salaries within the recorder's office. So it's just a matter of, it's perfunctory.
Right.
Thank you. Ordinance number 2023-08A, be read by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Oh, please read by title only.
This is an ordinance to adopt request to use Recorder's Perpetuation Fund to cover office expenses and salaries.
Okay, gentlemen,
Motion to approve?
Make a motion. Second.
we have a motion and a second to approve the ordinance. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion carries.
Did we get another reading?
Do it again.
Okay, so we need to do another reading.
Motion to read by title only
Thank
for the
you.
second reading.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to read by title only for a second reading. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Please
Motion to
read.
approve ordinance number 20.
An ordinance to adopt request to use Recorder's Perpetuation Fund
Never mind.
to cover office expenses and salaries.
Motion. Okay,
You go.
all right. Motion to approve ordinance 2023-08A.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve on the second reading. The ordinance number 2023-08A. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. We move on to the next one, which was not originally listed, and so that would be is that an ordinance?
Yeah, there are ordinances, and just once you call it, I'll
Okay.
give a little background.
I'll call it by the first one by ordinance number 2023-08B, establishing a pretrial diversion fund.
So both these funds before you tonight, these funds have been established for a long period of time. For some reason, we're unable to find the original ordinances having to do with these funds. And so we're just reestablishing the ordinances for the pretrial diversion fund and later the traffic deferral fund. Now, I know last year there was an issue regarding excess funds. These ordinances right now are not regarding whether the prosecutor is going to come forth and certify excess funds. At some point in time, if there's something we need to do, we need to establish another ordinance under the next title in the chapter. So these are just establishing the funds, and so all appropriations right now have to be approved by the council. Any questions?
Motion to suspend the rules.
Yes.
Have both readings tonight.
Well, that would probably be best tonight because you're gonna.
Yes,
you're
well, we
gonna
have a motion and a second to suspend the rules. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Hearing none, motion carries to suspend the rules. So now,
Motion to read by title only.
we have a motion to read by title only. Do I have a second?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Please read by title.
Ordinance establishing
Microphone.
an ordinance establishing an infraction deferral fund.
I thought we were doing the pretrial diversion first. Sorry. That's the one that I announced first.
Oh, okay.
They're already pre-numbered is why he did that.
I'm sorry. This is ordinance 2023-8C, or well, whatever. Ordinance establishing pretrial diversion fund. Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you. Anybody like to
Okay,
approve?
make a motion to ordinance number 2023-8-C. Is that what you're saying?
08C.
All right, but you said second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the ordinance on the first reading. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries.
President, motion for ordinance number 2023-8AC by title only.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Please read by title only.
This is ordinance 2023-8C, an ordinance establishing pretrial diversion fund.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to ordinance number 2023-8C to accept it, please, tonight.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion carries. That was the first reading, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Traffic, now you need
So
traffic.
but we did both first and second on the first.
Correct. Now you need.
Now we're going
traffic
for,
deferral.
okay, so now we're moving on to ordinance number 2023, the real 08B, establishing an infraction deferral fund. Somebody want to have it read by title only?
Okay, Mr. President, make motion for ordinance number 2023-8B to be read at title only.
Excuse
Second.
me.
Oh, we have to suspend the rules first, sorry.
Yeah, they're two separate. If
Mr.
that's what you
DiMartino,
want.
can we consolidate suspending the rules and the three readings of this and merge it into one motion to?
Two readings.
It's two readings. Yeah, well, I mean, you can, if it's home rule, you guys can make that rule and go ahead and do it.
We're
That's not
almost
the
done,
way-
so let's just get-
That's not the way we've done it in the past.
Okay.
But if you want to do it that way, that's fine.
So first we need to entertain a motion to suspend the rule again.
Okay, Mr. President, back up. Okay, make motion to suspend rule for ordinance number 2023-8B.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
And
Mr. President,
Nays? Motion carries, go ahead.
Mr. President, ordinance number 2023-8B, read by title only.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Please read by title. Thank you.
This is an ordinance establishing an infraction deferral fund.
Mr. President, make an ordinance number 2023-8B, accept it as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Now we need to move on to the second reading.
Motion to approve ordinance 2023-08B.
Do we need to do by title only in the second time around?
I'm assuming that's what Mr. Novak
That's
meant.
what I said.
Okay.
He's getting a little old.
No, never mind, moving on.
Read by. Motion to
Hope
read
that's
by.
in the minutes.
I'd like those words stricken from the record.
The motion part, no.
Motion to by title only, please.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries.
This is an ordinance establishing the infraction deferral fund.
Okay.
Motion to approve ordinance 2023-08B.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Okay, I think we're done.
For the record, I believe that after the meeting, the students that are here that have had to sit through all that should come up and have extra credit written at the bottom of your paper.
And we'll try and explain to you what happened.
Okay, so we're now ready to move on to new business. Consider approval of council president's authorization to hire a replacement position for LaPorte County Soil and Water Education Coordinator.
Can we do all A through E?
I'd be more than happy to.
Name those all.
LaPorte County E911 Network Administrator, LaPorte County Corrections Field Coordinator, LaPorte County Highway Department Equipment Operator and Mechanic, LaPorte County Board of Commissioners Veteran Service Officer.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve
Second.
and a second. Is there any comment before I speak? No comment?
I do have a question.
Okay.
I just got a question on the service officer. Is that going to be the one that's being trained to replace the one that's retiring, right?
Yes. And I'm gonna say this and then you can ask your question. And depending on who that is, there's a certification that they need to get. So this is not gonna be a full-time position replacement. They can come in and shadow on a part-time basis until we get closer. And then we need to discuss if we're gonna set some rules on that.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
So the question is, do we keep that in with all the others or do we separate that one out?
Let's separate it out.
Are you guys okay if we separate the last one out? Sure. Okay, so we're gonna do A through D. All right, so is there any discussion on A through D? Hearing none, I need a motion, please.
Motion for A through D.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. So now on E, this is the LaPorte County Board of Commissioners, Veteran Service Officer. This is way early for somebody that's gonna retire December 31st, but as it was discussed and explained to me, that it could take up to 3 months to get that certification. but not at a full-time rate. So I need
Just to be clear, this position we're adding a position temporarily, so that way there will be 3 individuals until the end of this year, and then it'll go back to 2, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And I believe Joe's the one that's retiring.
That's my understanding.
Right.
That's what we have here.
Okay.
Was that a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, so long as that it's just through the end of this year.
Second.
Third.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Anybody? No nays? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to Courthouse Security Committee. It mentions Sheriff Heeg and Judge Sobrank. What happens is we need to put somebody on the committee. So I've spoken to Mike Mullenhour, and I'd like you to approve putting him on the Courthouse Security Committee based upon his experience as being a sheriff.
Motion to approve Mike Mullenhour for the courthouse
Second.
committee.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Thank you very much. LaPorte County EMA. Do we have somebody here to discuss?
So, not that I'm the representative, but I talked to Rob Saby tonight and sent him best wishes. He had a slight medical emergency and he's being detained tonight. So with the siren, and Justin and I talked about this over the weekend. The siren in Long Beach, they're getting ready to build a new public safety building, and they're going to take down the building that the siren sits next to, and then the pole will be sitting in the middle of the parking lot, so it needs to be moved. They talked about moving it across the street, but having been there on Friday, I met with Chief Swestek, the town manager, and John Wall. And they think they've got a spot for it behind the building, and we can continue to keep it on the generator backup, so we would not need to buy the battery backup for it. And in the meantime, they're gonna work with their electrician. They're gonna take down the building, keep it connected until maybe our next meeting when we have more firm numbers as to exactly what it would take to move that pole. I think with looking at the pole, it's 50 foot that's there. It should be tall enough to, I think they recommended a 54-foot pole, but getting a firm price on moving that back there, and I think we could talk with the contractors that are doing the work on the new building to at least get some conduit out there, so it'd save us a little bit of money and might make it a little bit easier to move it there, so.
So with
That's an
that,
update.
I would make a motion to direct Mr. Saby to get quotes for this and for the auditor's office to agenda it for the next meeting and advertise the appropriations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to, let me finish that part. For getting the EMA director to move forward.
Question. So this particular one, there are some others that run throughout the county who are paid for by the area of Long Beach itself. All of a sudden, if we do this, are we saying we're gonna take over all these here because these were not in the past and other areas have had to purchase them? I'm just asking, because this is a different ownership than we have had in the past. Long Beach actually paid to put that in. This was not paid by the county. So I'm asking.
Whatever your pleasure. So we moved the one in Springfield, we moved the one in Westville. I don't know, I haven't seen the book on ownership.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just telling you, and I brought it up to Westville and I brought it because.
But I think with the fact that with the study that just came out, and in fact, it appears as though the county has, whether we wanted it or not, taking ownership of all the sirens.
It's your opinion, but I also with that, and I don't disagree with you, so, okay, this is what the original thought was, is because it's such a high cost of doing the whole county, that we were gonna get grant money for it. So this is something that's be purchased now, but we're going to go grant money after this point. That was the purpose of it. If we were gonna go that direction, we were gonna take ownership, that we were gonna, because it fits all the criteria for grants.
Right. But currently, there are no grants out there.
In this instance, also, we're moving it because they're relocating their facilities. So
Their ownership of their place, we're moving it, right? We're moving their, again, I don't disagree with you, but I'm just mentioning the fact that didn't belong to us. It belonged to the principal of Long Beach, their ownership themselves.
Fortunately, we have another month to investigate this further if you want to look into the history.
Do some of that stuff, so. We'll debate it next month.
Okay,
Well, in between.
Mr. Novak, thank you.
So we have a motion to request that the EMA director take further action. Any other discussion? If I don't hear any, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. The next part is really for us just to figure out how we'd like to do our public hearings for the budget hearings. And it was put on here as October 2nd as a suggestion, but I'd like to ask you to check your calendars if we can do it on Monday, September 18th, which is in 3 weeks from now. And the reason why I'm asking for that is because if it takes longer than that, we have lit public safety to deal with, we have lit economic development, have here listed as regional planner, we have the commissioners as well, and then we also need to start seeing discussion about the 100 accounts. So with all of those, I don't want to try and fit that in before our next meeting on October 2nd. And just as a reminder to everybody, there is no meeting at the end of September. It had to be moved to October 2nd because of an AIC conference that happens every year at the very end. And we would,
It's gonna be a fun
would not be a majority to be here.
Mr. President, I have something to do a little later. Actually have a meeting to go to. Could we make that 5:30 if we do it?
5:30, I don't have a problem. Does anybody else have a problem with doing it at 5:30?
The earlier the better.
What was the date?
18th.
Monday, September 18th, we just have to confirm and secure the room. If you would be so kind to take care of that. The auditor's office, we appreciate that.
Will
And
this-
then any public notice that we need to do.
Will this be considered the actual public hearing as far as the DLGF is concerned, or will that be held?
This is just a work.
Is that what you're wanting?
It's a workshop.
It's a
This one will be a workshop. We'll see how-
continuation of the budget here.
So we'll, because if we can,
Yeah.
we'll get it so close that on the October 2nd, and we'll know on the 18th. Otherwise,
We
we'll have
will
to,
still have the October 2nd.
well, we're
budget hearing,
trying, but we won't know until the
Public
18th.
hearing.
Okay? I know that you're trying to help us get on a certain time frame. There's also.
The time frame. It just reverts back to the 2023 budget if we don't have it done by that date is all my concern is.
Mr. President, I think some of the people here, let me try it one more time. So it's September 18th, not,
Yes.
I know you heard, but not everybody did, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Excuse me, did we not make a motion at our last meeting and move our meeting to October 2nd?
We did, but this is a separate meeting, not the regular meeting. This is just a workshop.
Okay, now you're talking about a
Yeah, I just don't think we can accomplish everything in one night.
5:30? That's good.
Ms. Graves, if we have this workshop and we hash out all the details, is that enough time for you to have everything prepared, submitted to the LGF in time for that October 2nd public hearing?
I do have to have that submitted on the 15th. So on the 15th is when I will submit the date
Of October?
that the budget.
Submit the date or submit the whole thing?
September 18th is when I submit to DLGF, when I need to submit to DLGF what date we're gonna have our actual public hearing.
Do we need to have the details of the budget prepared at that time or just the dates that we're holding?
Dates.
Okay, so this works fine with your office.
Yeah, it's pretty much ready, just waiting for the last numbers.
So could we not just agree that the October 23rd regular meeting in October would be the date that prior to that, we just schedule it for that? And we don't have to worry about
That's fine with me.
giving her a date? Is that, just do it prior to our meeting that night? Is that?
So
To help provide clarity, I think what we're looking to accomplish here is to hold a workshop to discuss the remaining funds that have not yet been discussed relative to the budget. Then we have to hold a public hearing as is required by state law as part of the approval process. That would be on October 2nd. That'd be an opportunity for the public to speak about the budget, but we wouldn't really be figuring out details at that time. And then we have to finally approve it on October 23rd after there's been a certain number of days. Is that all correct?
So we're looking for a workshop on the 18th.
At 5:30.
At 5:30, a public hearing and on October 2nd prior to our meeting, and then the budget adoption on October 23rd.
So just a matter of semantics question. September 18, continuation of budget. Workshop, not just the workshop.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you. We got that?
So
I don't think we need to do any motions, we're just setting the dates. Thank you. We move on to appropriations, transfers, and requests. Very first one, LaPorte Superior Court number 1.
Promise me some time here.
I'm
Before
sorry,
you went to this, you promised me some time.
sorry.
Okay. I need to know what we have in the general fund right now. before we get into requests. It's current.
I can't get into the computer here to know that answer.
They didn't list it.
What do you think we have in there?
No, there are no requests.
-4.
Negative what?
-4 or 8 million potentially. I'm not positive without pulling it up.
Today?
Maybe. I didn't pull it up today.
Sheets that they have.
To clarify, that is,
Is that a projection or is
If I
that
can get-
today?
It is, I can't get into the computer, so I don't know. But if I'm gonna guess, that's what I'm gonna guess. But are you able to help me to get logged in over here? If so, I can.
So
Brief
with,
recess.
yeah, Mr. President, can I ask for a recess, please?
Okay, we will take a 5-minute recess. Mike's on. We are now returning from recess. We are now going into appropriations, transfers, and requests. Did we get an answer to your question?
No.
Yeah, to look up the accounts today, there must have been some deposits that came in. So the cash balance is actually positive 10 million. The unexpended balance is negative 200,000. And then the available balance to spend would be what we talked about the last few meetings, which is the DLGF has issued us an appropriate balance at the end of December 31st of this year of 100 and some thousand, which I believe is on your fund's balance sheet, if I'm not mistaken. At least it has been in the months.
Could you repeat that one more time? I can't write that fast.
Sure. The cash balance as of today is $10,006,349.21.
This is the general fund only.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct. And then the unexpended amount that I see, which what that is when things are appropriated. If they're not spent, there would be a positive balance there. So right now we are negative. I can't see this very well. Sorry, excuse me. We're negative $266,601 and what I believe it says 68 cents in the unexpended column. And then the amount to spend that we put on your funds balance, as we've said, I don't know, since February, is the DLGF has given in the 1782 notice, our ending balance as of December 31st of 2023 is expected to be, and I don't have it pulled up right here in front of me, but $130-some thousand.
119,269.
119,269 it is then, thank you.
So that defies my imagination that we're fluctuating between 10 million here and 250,000, and the DLGF has given us an estimate down to $1.
It's estimated completely.
I guess it's estimated, all right.
But I'm sorry. The $10 million, that's the money on hand, but, okay. But it's all, but
And it
Here's what's very
has nothing to
confusing.
do with like
Been
a
accounted
checking
for.
account, has nothing to do with anything like that. There's actually I'm gonna mention this, but I don't know the answer to this. There's actually an unappropriated fund section of the general fund, which is what I would like to understand next. So no, it's not all appropriated, but of the appropriated amounts, we have overspent the appropriated amounts. But there is a section that's called unappropriated where all of the deposits come into, but then there's things that statutorily, I guess we have to use it for, jury pay, things like that. So it's currently negative $365,000, but I don't understand why or how it gets funded. So that's something for us to work on too. So unfortunately, the cash balance doesn't mean a lot when you're looking at it individually.
But you would add the 300 and some thousand to the 266 to get a more accurate number.
Negative?
Negative.
Yeah, probably.
so when we see in our packet here, it tells us that the available to spend is $0. Can you explain what that means to us?
Yeah, that means that the general fund is very low compared to what you've had in past years. So when the DLGF says we're expecting that your ending balance for December is going to be 100,000, it doesn't leave you much to use. So I was told by Vaughn, we just say that's all that's in there, don't spend from it. Now, Justin and I have sat down numerous times, and I think we will need to do that again once this part of the budget is worked on. But we're looking at, if we keep spending how we are, it's actually going to be closer to -4 million in the general fund after property taxes come in. So the general fund needs a lot of attention and a lot of pampering as we go through to make sure that it stays positive. Appropriations from it could be detrimental to the future because you don't know how much is exactly there. You don't know how much of the property tax. He sent out a letter today about the property tax changing so much.
That'd be a good time to lead into that, don't you think? Since it's not on the agenda.
Well, I've got a real simple question. I spoke with Ms. Winsky this afternoon. She estimates that our share, the county share of the tax draw in November, will be somewhere between $10 and $12 million.
Which would be really low compared to what I think it's estimated at, isn't it, Mr. Keel?
So here's my
Top of
question.
my head, I couldn't say.
Here's my next question. At 1.3 every 2 weeks for payroll, what we draw in November is supposed to cover us from January to May the following year. We don't draw taxes again until May.
Well, this year in, what was it, April, we were already -10 million, and I've seen in the previous years where it was -23 million by April. So I think, unfortunately, that's a common happenstance. I just don't understand it fully. I mean, that's what you hope for, is positive at year end. But yeah, like he said, it's supposed to be positive at year end plus take care of January through June is what you're hoping. But right now, for some reason, a few years back, I would not know when, we got to, the county has gotten to where when we get the money in June, we are reimbursing ourselves for what we spent from January to June. It would be smarter if we could get, or would have stayed at, December would fund January to June, but that isn't what has happened in any years back to, as far as I could find, when I did the research back
State
in.
Board of Accounts and DLGF, nobody has written us up for that in the past.
For what?
The State Board
We're
of
not,
Accounts or DLGF.
I heard what you asked, but written us up for what? We're not negative at the end of the year, so they're not gonna write us up. That's,
Well, if we're operating within a margin of $119,000,
then you're pretty close, but you're not negative at the end of the year yet, yes.
Yeah.
Yet.
But your projection is 4 to 5 million.
That's a projection that Mr. Keel has helped with. I am not knowledgeable
you're
enough to
to
have said that just yet.
You guys stop spending our money. That's it. You're done. You're cut off.
I'm just trying to identify the problem, which one of the things that I pointed out in an email that I sent to my colleagues today is that there is a high likelihood that there's going to be an increase to the amount of circuit breaker cap and the impact that that's going to have on our property tax levy. So as some people may be aware, there are tax caps. They go up due to a variety of circumstances. We are, based off of an estimate from the DLGF, we're anticipating that that amount will go up by about $1.6 million that won't be collected from our property tax levies. If you take our existing levy for the general fund and you multiply it by 4%, which is the maximum that the state allows, that's about 1.7 million, meaning that of that 1.7, we can increase the budget. We're really only going to have $100,000 of extra revenue going into next year, which is potentially very problematic.
We agree with your recommendation per your email about bringing in Baker Tilly or whoever the council wants to get these estimates. And with what the state did on restrictions, additional givebacks on property taxes, I think it makes a lot of sense.
So, but here's the issue. The DLGF, you said this information just came out.
I just identified it.
You just,
I mean, I don't peruse their website every day just for fun, but
right. But then we have to have our budget in. This would have been nice to know before we started our budget hearings. So the DLGF
Did bring
should
it
be.
to the budget hearings, actually, otherwise that's.
well, not the tax cap.
No, not the tax cap.
No.
The -4 he brought, I'm sorry. The tax cap just came out.
That's my point.
Yeah.
The DLGF is setting a deadline for you to have all this done, and they're just coming out with this avalanche curveball that now all of a sudden we got to factor into this. You know, we got to have all the budget done. It'd been nice to know this earlier in the year, much earlier in the year.
Yeah, good point.
So
I will say too, some things that will help once they're found in research in our office. We found interest income of the amount of about, I think, 2 million from 21 to 23 that hasn't been posted yet. Mrs. Winsky told me that she would get the 23 done, which is just a small chunk of that. But once those amounts are identified, there's another 2 million that should have been in our general fund. And then during, I think, budget hearings, I believe it was Mr. Yagelski brought up the tax sale surplus that is usually there. And our office went back researching, and we got back to 2015, and we have never found where the tax sale surplus has been moved into general. So today, we identified that up till today, since budget hearings, we've been working on it. We've identified that what we're on a plan is to, by 2026, have all of the money that's in there today to be put back into the general. But as of today, we had the 2019 surplus, and then the 2020 surplus has been put into the general unappropriated funds. I have it written down in my office, but I'm gonna guess it was at least 300,000 of the million, but we don't want to short ourselves on the liabilities. So we're on a plan to do 19 and 20. Next year we'll be able to do 21, then 22. In 26, we'll know that everything in there is at least 3 years old, can't be claimed, and then it can all be moved. We'll be able to start fresh and do it every year.
When you mentioned before that there was interest revenue that had not been posted yet, those cash balance numbers you gave, are those reflective of that interest revenue? So it's not in there?
No, it's in the account, but it's never been given to us for the funds. So the funds do not show that.
For example,
We wouldn't be able to.
For
We don't
example,
have it.
5 years ago, we sold like $100 million worth of property.
Microphone.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Did you say 100 million?
Sorry, in the 5 years of that, other 5 years, not just that 1 year. We did 25.
About tax sale?
Yeah, we did 25, and this is not this is the commissioner sale.
Correct.
Right,
Not,
the tax certificate, but
Yes.
the commissioner's certificate.
right. I can tell you that there was investors came in and spent, over himself from Chicago, $20 million. So I know that the numbers have been outrageous. Now, they've gone through a lot of these properties, so there's not as many coming up. And a lot of these properties we have given to municipalities like Michigan City, wherever, LaPorte, where you have a lot of vacant land and they're just not worth, our area does not sell good with vacant land, so we end up just giving them to Michigan City, and they either split it with the people between both sides of it. But the big properties have all gone out, so we've had a huge amount of cash influxes, and I just think that's why I kept questions. I know you went, where is that money at as present? Is it in Mrs. Winsky's account or?
No, so to clarify.
Hold on, I'm gonna ask that we stop this now so we can move on with the meeting. And let's take this offline. Let's
Well,
get into
the reason
it.
why I'm bringing this up now is because I'm going to say right now, transfers are fine, but until we figure this out, I'm not going to vote for it. So there's a purpose for these questions.
No, I get it, but we've already gone through a lot of answers. Now we're going and starting adding on additional confusing conversation to everybody in the public when we've already figured out what our general balance numbers is right now and where we think it's going to go.
If it would help satisfy Mr. Yagelski, can we kind of contain what the issue is of your objections? Because I think they're mostly related to general fund,
The
right?
objection started here that we were $4 million in the hole.
But in general fund.
In the general fund, yes, there were $4 million in the hole.
So
Then it was zero, which we understood why she said zero, but then it was $10 million. So
The 4 million was a guess when you asked me to do that without looking at this. It was 4 million earlier this month. It
but
does fluctuate often, just so you know.
because we had a tax money came.
No, that was before that.
Okay, but we had tax money this month.
Yes, in June. We got tax in June. Our settlement was in June, which brought in, I think, at least 18 million.
18 million,
So
almost 19.
since that day, it's
Okay,
been
I'm going to
negative
ask
and
you.
then positive.
I'm going to ask you to
Is
hold
there other
comment.
items
And I guess-
on the agenda that are not in question?
Well, I
We
guess-
shouldn't hold up those
Nothing's
items.
on the
Here's,
general
here's
fund.
the here's the issue, Mr. Keel, is that if we're gonna be $4 million short at the end of the year, we're gonna have to shore it up with one of these other accounts that we have, and that's the issue. So all the accounts are on the table, realistically. And with that, I'm gonna add another question that's not on the thing. With the new ordinance that we did on the emergency or the rainy day, do we need to physically transfer that money from Riverboat, the 50% now?
I think you have to wait till closer to the end of the year, if I'm not
We can do it
mistaken.
anytime we
There's
want.
two provisions, one that does it quarterly and then one that's at the end of the year that looks at surplus.
Right.
Okay, so if you just
Just
take,
notice the Riverboat,
There was some kind of
balance.
supplemental deposit made
Yeah.
that was large, so that's why it's.
So Mr. President, if you take a look at just the numbers of payroll, and you go to April, because that's when we have our first amount of money coming in May, you're looking at $23 million just for payroll. So it does bringing to my point, we will not have enough money to put, I don't care where it comes from, whether we take it from these other funds or whatever, we will not have enough funds to fund ourselves to the end of the year at this rate. So it is important that we do not just go except for transfers tonight until we get a better understanding. Whether it's a higher group to come in and look at it, that's fine, but we need to do something here, because this is not, I'm not the only councilman who feels this way.
No, and I don't disagree with you either. I'm just trying to
I'm
move
okay with
forward, go down, and then table what we want to
Emergency money
table
and
as we
transfers
go
are
through.
fine, but yes.
Okay, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Because I'd be more than happy to jump in there also in the conversation. I've already put an email out to one of the partners at
And I highly
Tilly.
recommend that, and I know a lot of stuff gets missed by the auditor's office, if they put a letter out that says what our intentions are for month to month at this point until we get something figured out, because I know they're gonna be wanting to come to us.
Okay. I also think that hopefully before September 18th, we'll have some answers. I know, it's not an easy thing to find, but hopefully we can get somebody in here to help us get some answers. Okay, moving on to appropriations, transfers, and requests. We have LaPorte Superior Court number 1, request to transfer from the 1000.300, I'm gonna just read the transcripts, to the office supplies account for
Motion to
$1,000.
approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. LaPorte County Plan Commission, request to transfer from maintenance contracts to office supplies, $1,000.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second, I think I heard. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion carries. LaPorte County Prosecutor's Office, request to transfer funds. No, is there something we need to straighten out on this, or we're good?
Oh, we're good.
Go ahead.
I think we're good.
Okay. Request to transfer funds from the unappropriated county user fee fund to the prosecutor pretrial diversion and deferral fund to
approve.
assist
Second.
law enforcement in purchasing needed equipment, $35,000. We have a motion and a second. All the-
Clarification.
Yes.
Is this a transfer or an appropriation?
All,
Permission to spend.
it's coming, it's unappropriated, it needs to be appropriated by y'all.
Permission to spends and additional appropriations, exact same thing. There is no such thing as just to spend it. Everything has to be appropriated unless the statute says you don't need to appropriate it.
So it isn't really a transfer, it's an additional appropriation then?
It's transferring from 2,500 to 2,501.
Before he can spend the
To be
35,000, it has
appropriated.
to be appropriated.
Thank you.
A little of both.
You good? Everybody understand? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. LaPorte County Auditor requesting additional appropriations from Lit Public Safety for poll raises approved during last year's budget hearings of $400,000, the Sheriff's Merit Program of $100,000.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion carries. Requesting additional appropriation from Riverboat, Wind Tax, or ARP for legal fees.
Motion to deny.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to deny. All those in favor, any discussion?
I got something I just want to read a text that I received tonight. And I wasn't planning on coming here making a grandstand or doing anything with this. But just, I thought I'd let you know that I'm not going to tolerate, this is a text I received from the auditor. I'm not going to tolerate your attacking, demeaning, slamming, and degrading me tonight.
I didn't say
And
slamming.
then,
I didn't say
in
slamming.
a completely two-faced manner, pretending that you're my best friend. That's never happened. But
I stand by that comment.
in the world after a meeting, if you feel you have to be the bidding for your master to show him your loyalty and want to bring him about a SHIT storm, I'm going to fight back. Your open hostility to my role and function is offensive, disrespectful, and debased, especially since you were one of the 4 that admitted inappropriate charges, and I never admitted inappropriate charges.
Yes, you did.
I'm not
Yes, you
going
did.
to let you politically degrade me without holding you accountable for your own behavior. If you want to fight, we can fight. This is It's
were very
hostile. This
offensive
is
to me at the last
hostile.
meeting,
And for
Councilman.
somebody to be voting on
attacked
your
my
bill.
and you attacked my
and the way you
integrity.
do this,
You attacked my integrity at the last meeting.
And he's not,
I did
It went
not.
too far.
I did not.
Yes, you did go too
Believe
far.
in
Please stop.
he's a department.
You were
head. He can't do
offensive,
this.
and you attacked
Please
my
stop.
integrity.
Please stop.
I'm going to make a comment.
And you misrepresented
This-
the
this
that.
all
He's a
comes-
department head. He can't sit there and
This all
decide
comes.
his meeting.
This all comes back. It's a financial thing. It's a financial. I think we're gonna with this appeal, we're gonna be pushing $30,000 over a $9,000 dispute.
Let's talk about the
I think
vendor.
it's out of.
You're out of order.
Giving you my.
Sir, you're out of order.
It's
You
not
being a
it's
toady,
either
and you're
right
being
or
a toady
wrong.
to the
Sir,
vendor.
you're out of order.
You are a toady to that vendor.
Hostile.
You were hostile to me last
I
time,
am.
Councilman.
I've never
You were
been
destructive,
hostile.
and you were offensive, and you acted like my best friend after the meeting, sir. And that was offensive.
Tim, we can disagree,
auditor.
and
Don't
I
call
can
me
talk
Tim.
to you. I
You
never
are
called. I
two-faced,
never
sir.
called you to begin
You are
yet.
two-faced.
You were. That is an absolute bold-faced lie.
Like my best
Wait, we have a
friend.
motion on the floor
And a second.
and a second. We're in the middle of our discussion. He brought up something.
Political pressure he's trying to put on everybody.
President, I got a motion.
You got political prpressure from Shaw Friedman.
Stop. Both you. Gentlemen,
Absolute
You are
lie.
Shaw Friedman's
please
stooge.
stop.
You are a stooge of Shaw Friedman,
No, let him
Councilman.
talk. Let him talk. We
You're
keep talking.
afraid. Yeah, you're afraid of Shaw Friedman.
It's an absolute
You acted
lie.
afraid of him.
Gentlemen,
You've been
we have a motion on the floor. and
Absolute
No,
lie.
It's not a lie. We've
we
seen
have a
it.
second.
No.
Was there other discussion before we go and call the vote? All those in favor of denying, could you do a roll call, please? Sorry, you just know that it's gonna.
Sure, that's what I'm not.
The motion.
The motion was to deny paying for the legal fees of $2,875.16.
Councilman Cunningham.
Nay. I'm sorry, the motion is to deny.
Yes.
Aye.
Councilman Karanka.
Nay.
Councilman Rosenbaum.
Nay.
Councilman Keel.
Nay.
Councilman Yagelski.
Aye.
Councilman Molnar.
Aye.
Councilman Novak.
Aye.
Okay, that
Four
motion
ayes, 3
carries.
nays.
Okay, LaPorte County Building Maintenance.
President, I'm sorry. The last thing we have brought up here, real quick, it would be real quick. There was some talk about Baker Tilly or whatever we do. You'll have, Mr. President, you'll have to go to the commissioners. We cannot authorize
Contracts. Right.
That is, there isn't, go on.
Question for Mr. DiMartino. We're statutorily allowed to hire advisors for financial purposes, correct? Do we
That is
need permission
correct.
from the commissioners if we do this ourselves?
I would have to look at that, but eventually they are going to have to sign
the contract.
the contract, unless I know that. Well, as to the lawyer, you sign the contract. I would have to look at the statutory language. So let's do this. If it's a go,
The commissioners established both Baker Tilly and Sender and Company as the financial advisor of the county at the beginning of the year.
was it this year? Because I remember
Yes.
that was with ARP.
No, it was the financial advisor is both
So-
Carl Sender and Baker Tilly.
Well, let's do this. Let's go with it unless there's a prohibition, and if there's a prohibition, we'll go ahead and take care of it with the commission. Okay? Does that work? And that way?
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing, at least, bringing it to everybody's attention. Appreciate that. So now we're talking about LaPorte County Building Maintenance, requesting additional appropriations from Riverboat or Wind Tax or ARP. The first thing is for part-time pay for $52,200.
Good evening, Mr. President, Council. Sean Fitzpatrick, Director of Facilities. So the first amount is to cover the remainder of the pay periods for this year.
So $52,200 at the highest part-time pay is $16.50. That's over 3,000 hours, just under 3,200 hours. Over a 7-week period, that's 186 hours. Divided by the maximum a part-time person can work of 28 hours, that means 6.6 people would be working for the next 17 weeks as part-timers under this schedule. I find that extremely high when you have a current workforce, full-time workforce, to have that many part-timers.
How much is your part-time budget in the beginning?
I don't have that number.
200.
Huh?
105, 200.
105.
So I don't have that many part-timers working that amount of hours actually. So
then the number is outrageous.
no, it's not. They have about 16 part-time employees. 11 of them, which are housekeepers, they work an average of 3 hours each at varying days throughout the week. They're not all present every day because most of them have full-time jobs. They wouldn't be able to be available to work for the maximum amount of hours as it is to that. And then 3 of them are part-time seasonal mowers for all of the landscaping and mowing we have to do for the season. And then 2 of them are maintenance.
Mr. Fitzpatrick, how much money is remaining in these 2 line items currently?
One is about the part-time is about less than $8,000, roughly a pay period or so.
Would it be a problem if we push this to next meeting?
I'd probably have to lay some people off and they probably draw unemployment.
Part-timers are going to draw unemployment? No, they don't.
If they make, some of them that work up 20 hours can get unemployment benefits.
You know,
maybe I'm wrong.
That's
overtime wouldn't.
It's
cost.
a watered down amount. What you're trying to say, and I know what you're trying to say, is that if the person doesn't meet the wage requirement in their household, so many residents in the household, there might be some, but not everybody's going to apply. No. It's Mike, you know about Mr. Rosenbaum.
Mm-hmm.
That's selective based upon their
Mm-hmm.
income. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's a special.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I understand this. I believe Mr. Karanka said that your budget for part-time was $105,000.
$105,200 according to
$52,200 is almost exactly 50% of that figure. And we're not out of August yet. You're asking for that to finish the year.
Correct.
Okay.
At the time that we were setting budgets, there was $64,901 spent out of that $105,200.
You can do whatever you want.
So that would have been, I assume, through June. Okay.
Or a third of it, or whatever.
What would the council feel about if we cut that number down to like $25,000 and then review it and see where it's at? Instead of, I mean, we don't want to have any work go undone or something happen or a lesser amount.
Is that a motion, sir?
That's a motion, yeah.
We have a motion on the floor.
I'll second that.
And we have a second on the floor. Is there,
Fund.
We don't have.
What money can we use? I'm not being hard on this one.
No, you.
What money can we use that we'd have to use for if we had to use a payroll emergency or whatever?
Riverboat.
We'd have to use riverboat?
Yeah.
Or we have to do wind tax, I'm sorry.
Riverboats.
You want to do it at a riverboat?
There's $2 million in there. So.
Or, okay, so he says he wants to use riverboat.
If that's his choice, okay.
Okay, and that's good with the person who's second?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Nay. Okay,
What's the amount?
25,000. Again, I question, we go to overtime pay, 21,900, and someone's got to explain that
What's your
number to
current
me.
balance in overtime?
The overtime is around, I believe, 9,000.
What was the budgeted amount?
$25K.
Sounds like there's enough to make it to next month.
Just so that we're clear, through June 30th, 15,352 was expended. So that would be the $9,000, which means there hasn't been any overtime.
And the
expended.
heavier use, I don't know when the heavier use would be on that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's by demand.
Well, the main thing is we cover building checks on the off hours, so we're pretty much a 24-hour department. When the county's in work or out of the buildings, we have to maintain the systems and make sure we don't have any water emergencies, fire emergencies, or other system failures that could inhibit our ability to operate as a.
Then you should be working you should be managing your workforce so that they can account for that in the regular work.
I make a motion that out of Riverboat $10,000.
A second.
We have a motion and a second for $10,000 for additional overtime pay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Nay.
Nay.
Hold on, right now, we have to get Mr. Yagowski here.
Please.
Can I add there was about $5,000 of that was from the flood that occurred on December 25th that was paid out in this year that came out of the availability for this year.
Appreciate knowing that number. And Mr. Yagowski, we're going to do a roll call vote if you're okay.
You know what we're voting on? Okay.
Are you looking into something you're going to want to share with us, or you want us to wait?
I'll give you just one second.
While Mr. Yagowski does this thing, Mr. Fitzpatrick, with all due respect, I think it might be helpful if you send more information in advance of these meetings about your requests. You've kind of had some tumultuous requests lately, and it might be helpful to give us more information before the meeting so we can
Especially
walk
to your
through it
ladies.
more.
I'm trying to balance getting on the commission's agenda to ask to approach the council, and then getting on the council agendas to be the dates and stuff, and getting the data crunched has been a thing.
Are you ready? You finish your question?
Yeah, I think so.
So all of last year, between the overtime and part-time, the amounts were the same amount, basically. But they didn't spend the whole amounts of either one of them in 2022.
And we'll say the 5,000 that was spent on the flood this year would be an exception.
There's an exception. So right now, 2022, they didn't spend total amounts of both those overtime and.
Do you have more part-time people this year?
Substantially. We do a lot more housekeeping than has probably ever been done with the county, so.
Be my guest.
Originally, my understanding is you submitted a request for a lower amount for these two items.
Correct.
What changed, and how did you come up with these numbers precisely?
So the initial numbers that we came were off, and then when we recrunched the numbers, and myself and my office manager,
off how?
The remainder of pays versus what we had paid out, we averaged it off of the rate of pay and the amount of hours that have been worked off of what going into the months that we were in. So
Okay, we have a motion and we call for a vote, but this time we need to do it by a roll call, please.
Do you want to repeat it, or are you okay with that? For $10,000, correct?
It is for $10,000.
On a riverboat.
On a riverboat for overtime pay. Councilman Cunningham.
Nay.
Councilman Yagowski.
Nay.
Councilman Mullenhour.
Aye.
Councilman Keel.
Nay.
Councilman Rosenbaum.
Nay.
Councilman Novak.
Aye.
And Councilman Karanka.
Aye.
3 ayes, 4 nays. Motion fails.
LaPorte, thank you. LaPorte County Coroner requesting additional appropriation from Coroner Non-Reverting Fund for remote starters for both coroner vehicles, not to exceed $750.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion?
It should be worth knowing that it seems like an added expense for no interest, but really what it comes down to is a coroner's office gets called all through the night, especially in the wintertime when it comes down to immediate response. The purpose really is to go through, assure that those cars are properly defrosted and safe to drive before they have to rush off to another situation when they're called up in the middle of the night.
Hope you're not rushing, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing personal.
We have any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay.
Okay, 6-1. LaPorte County Board of Commissioners, requesting additional appropriations from the Rainy Day Fund for LaPorte County Complex Flood Renovation, galvanized water line, not to exceed $596,000, replacement of hot water heating system, not to exceed $486,898, makeup air unit replacement, not to exceed $284,815, installation of galvanized water lines, not to exceed $103,000, alarm system components, not to exceed $258,750. Total is not to exceed $1.1 $1,729,463.
Mr. President, motion to approve out of the rainy day fund.
We have a motion to approve out of the rainy day fund
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion?
Potential recovery of some of this funds from insurance, correct?
Absolutely.
And we have to do this to get our people back into their offices.
And we have to do that for getting the additional money from the insurance. Like those.
I just want to clarify one other thing. The installation of the galvanized water lines is the heating and cooling lines. They're not drinking lines. The drinking lines have all been replaced with copper, so.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion carries. Requesting additional appropriation from Riverboat or Wind Tax or ARP for the museum curator's pay account. In the budget, there was only for one person, enough for one person, and there should have been enough for two. And that is why they've come to us for the additional money. Anybody have a motion?
Mr. President, make a motion out of Riverboat.
Motion out of Riverboat,
Second.
and we have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any nays?
Hey,
Okay, 6-1, thank you. LaPorte County Weights and Measures, requesting additional appropriations from Riverboat or Wind Tax or ARP for a part-time assistant, $6,550, and repair, and let's do one at a time, please.
Mr. President, I go with both. He's
You wanna do-
explained himself, he's contacted everybody.
Okay,
He did a good job at the part-time assistant. That was because of the switchover of people. We understood what was going on there.
okay, so we do both.
So I motion both of them out of Riverboat.
Second.
We have a motion and a second out of Riverboat for both of those. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
nay.
Okay, 6-1.
Thank you.
LaPorte County Animal Shelter, requesting additional appropriation from Riverboat or Wind Tax or ARP for fuel, $4,000.
Motion to approve out of Riverboat.
We have a motion to approve out of Riverboat. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay.
One nay.
While Eric's up here, I just want to bring up an issue that Dr. Dora, and correct, you can jump in anytime you want, but Dr. Dora, who's been doing all the veterinarian service out at the clinic, has retired, and he's stepping back. He's been doing a lot of work, and we appreciate everything he's been doing out there in his office. And so the search has been going on for quite some time, since January, to find another veterinarian to come in and do it. It is very, very difficult to find someone. And there's a grant that pays for a portion of it. How much?
We get a yearly grant, and it depends on the market. It's usually between 40 to 50,000. And generally, our pay for our veterinarian has not increased over the years since the clinic was built.
Right.
9 years ago.
And Dr. Dora subsidized it.
So
He was in a financial position where he did not need to live off of.
Just lean closer to the
microphone, please. Thank you.
Dr. Dora was in a financial position where he basically subsidized. So he basically got paid about half what he should have for his services, and because he could afford to.
And his practice has been sold. So
Correct.
the question is, are they have been contacted, all the different doctors?
We've been searching since January to find another veterinarian. The issue is even a starting vet is around $100,000. So it's going to be very difficult to find someone. So this is just planting a seed that we're actively looking for someone, and it's very difficult. We're even reaching out to the Humane Society and other places to see if we can share a veterinarian. So there's all kinds of things we're doing, but it's kind of getting to the crunch time because they're using all the funds to outsource the veterinarian services, which is costing more money than if we had somebody in-house.
We had to piecemeal it together, yeah.
Right now, we have one relief vet who typically comes in 1 to 2 days a month. Like this month, she was there 2 days. Next month, September, she's only going to be there 1 day. So any animal that's getting spayed or neutered, we transport out to local veterinarians, which we're driving to Rolling Prairie, to Chesterton multiple times a week, so.
Right, definitely.
Which in addition to not, you're using all your staff time and gas and all of that other stuff, so that's.
Yep, it's burning up the resources, so. just wanted to plant the seed, so, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up too. Okay, that is passed. We move on to LaPorte Superior Court number 4, requesting additional appropriation from Riverboat or opioid unrestricted wind tax RARP for psychological evaluations, $3,000.
Motion to approve out of opioid unrestricted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Question.
Yes, sir.
We're not using the restricted fund.
Same question, yeah.
Same thing.
Because I don't know that the psychological evaluations are strictly for drug. It's not drug court.
Okay. All right.
It could be for competency.
Any other questions or any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay.
So we have 2 nays, correct? Thank you. Port County Community Corrections, requesting additional appropriations from Lit Public Safety or Riverboat or Wind Tax or ARP for BJ's Lock Shop invoice $17,669 and the policy revision and updates via Lexapol.
I'll make a motion that the $17,669 comes out of their commissary fund.
It's not been added to us.
It hasn't been, but it needs to be appropriated, doesn't it? Out of their commissary fund?
I don't know if that needs to be appropriated because there's really
It doesn't exist.
a commissary fund.
We can do that.
Right. So,
Does that mean that?
that it comes off our.
So it comes off of
permission.
our list and then you're gonna take care of it there?
We give permission.
Absolutely.
You're comfortable with that?
I am.
Okay, so let me just circle this. And do we need to give permission?
That was a motion. Permission to spend.
So, okay, so that's a permission to spend with a second or requesting additional appropriations, whatever. We have a first and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay.
Okay. Policy revision and updates via Lexapol, $38,888.
Need me to speak on that. The Lexapol DOC has been asking community corrections for the past 4 years to update our policies and our procedures. The last it was updated was in 2014. It would actually be a full-time job for someone to go through all of those policies and procedures and to align them with the state. Back when Sheriff Boyd was in office, I spoke to him and they had used Lexapol to update all of their policies and procedures. And that's where I got the information for Lexapol. And so I went to them. They also did Tippecanoe County Community Corrections. They're doing White County Community Corrections. So they've done a great job for people around the state.
President.
Yes, sir.
This is, well, it's been for 4 years they've requested, which I understand. This is probably not the best time for us right now in the situation we're in right now. It's kind of an unfunded mandate, unfortunately, because that's what they're doing right now, is they're telling you that they want something done. I would simply ask that we, until we get ourselves in a better situation, that we just hold off for another couple of months, not to say that we won't do this. I'm asking for a motion,
Can I put this out there?
sure.
They have asked for it to be done or at least started by the end of the year. This is a lengthy process. We are grant funded by the DOC and we are at a risk of losing our grant if we don't do what they ask us to do. They have been asking for the past 4 years.
4 years, right. So I believe at this point, down a couple of months will not hurt us in the situation.
Okay.
In my opinion, we worked with this before.
So we'll ask to put it back on for October.
Yeah, just
second.
We'll do
Okay.
it. And you don't have to come for your monkey, but we understand why you need it. So,
Okay.
yes, please, that'll be my motion.
So your motion to table.
But I want to make sure that they get it.
Motion to table to October 2nd meeting. And it should be appropriated for
That's the September meeting.
the September meeting on October 2nd.
October 2nd.
Okay. All right.
You see, we want to know a little better where we're at.
Okay.
Second.
Sounds good.
Let's jump off for a second.
All right. Thank you.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm done talking. LaPorte County Clerk requesting an appropriation from Clerk Record Perpetuation Fund for Bolt invoice, $10,288.50.
Motion to approve.
And Bolt has to deal with their records, and that's what they can spend that on. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
I spoke with the clerk earlier today, and this is a annual service contract for software that they're using for their records. retention and record keeping.
This is basically her perpetuation fund.
That is correct, sir.
It says additional appropriate, or it says appropriation, but it's really a transfer from.
Well, our permission to spend is how we.
No, it's an appropriation according to the
Appropriation,
statute.
according-
Ms. Rhonda and I have gone through it.
Okay,
Okay, it's an appropriation from her fund. that can
Correct.
only be spent by the clerk.
Correct. Doesn't revert back the money.
Non-reverting. Thank you.
Thank you.
any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
All right.
Any nays? LaPorte County Highway Department requesting additional appropriation from cumulative bridge or major bridge or ARP for Franklin Street Bridge repairs.
Mr. President?
Yes.
So I'm representing the Highway Department tonight and with the Franklin Street Bridge. Originally, when I came to the council, we presented the presentation of a 5-year plan. We're in a third year of the 5-year plan. Because these are time-sensitive things to order and to get accomplished for this year, before the end of this year, as you know, because the weather starts to freeze down that area. It needs to be addressed now. We need to take care of it. This hasn't been a surprise. This has been exactly what we said we were going to do on this 5-year program. So again, if you don't do the oil change, your car doesn't work after a while. It's the same process.
So is that a motion?
Motion approved.
I don't know
Not
which
to
fund.
exceed- Yeah.
Cuban Bridge.
And-
Oh, sorry,
Major bridge only has,
Just list all of them. Just say
yeah, I was saying.
all of them. It's not gonna be due till the first of the year. So
However, it works itself out.
we might have to take it out of more than one fund.
I'd ask so we
We could-
nine.
I can do Cuban Bridge and Major Bridge. I can do it if there's not enough money in one. Yes, so I'll do it Cuban Bridge and then Major Bridge. But you can do it that way, right, sir? All right.
How much are we appropriating out of each of those funds then?
I don't know.
first up to 1.5 million out of the cumulative bridge if it's there.
Last
and
year,
then it goes to.
last year.
Going to create an accounting problem?
So according to the publication that came from
Don't worry about it, we're just doing.
Ms. Graves, we had 1.788 million in Cume Bridge and 176,000 in Major Bridge.
Right.
The reason why I picked Cuban Bridge, no, Major Bridge, is that we take payroll out of Major Bridge for our attendants out there, plus a supervisor. That's our bridge foreman. So the only reason why I picked Cuban Bridge is for that reason.
And that makes most sense. It's best funded.
Okay.
Well, I guess the question, hold on, the question might be, are there any monies that you've already spent out of cumulative bridge that have not yet been paid out of cumulative bridge? Is that one?
That's why I'm going both of them. I said,
Yeah, but you only have 100 grand in.
But it'll be, by the time the bill comes in January, it'll be replenished. There'll be
yes,
maybe 600. We usually get 600 and some thousand a year in there.
a little over $500,000. So what we're doing is just take the money they can out of Cuban Bridge till they can't by the and then go to Major Bridge.
Okay, I'm still gonna bring up another thing. Are there any grant monies that we're supposed to match between now and then at a cumulative bridge from the planner?
So going through,
I'm just asking.
and I'm answering some stuff that we looked at earlier, or that I looked at earlier this afternoon, going through the motions of support for 2022 and 2023, not seeing anything there that would qualify for being grant work that we already provided a motion of support for. So,
No, just putting on the
Just-
brake.
Pointing out
no,
also,
appreciate it.
is it possible that they have internally committed themselves to doing projects that are going to need these funds in the future that they haven't approached us for a motion of support for?
No, Mr. President, no. Everything that has to come front has come from the council. There is no additional stuff. Now, we rocked down maybe a couple $1,000s, but just things like that. Nothing more than just day-to-day maintenance that we've done. We put a camera out there that broke. No, nothing to any excessive amounts. We lost the camera. We had to replace the camera, and we had to bring some stone because we washed out. Nothing more than that.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second, I believe. That was seconded.
Mm-hmm.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Further discussion. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I just want to say for the record here, because I'm going to be deeply in the minority in this vote, I object to this on two fronts. One is that we don't have a sustainable funding plan for that Franklin Street Bridge. There's going to be more projects in the future, and it doesn't really appear like we have a long-term plan for funding this. And second, we did not do a competitive procurement process for this. This is a public works project. It needed to be bid out. And I know that that would make it more expensive, but that's the law. So I will be a nay vote on it, and those are my reasons for it.
And if I may, Mr. President, I would also ask the council, as it has done in the past, to ask the auditor to waive any concerns around the public purchase statutes and adherence to the public purchase statutes.
Mr. President, I have no
As
problem.
part of your motion.
Mr. President, I have no problem with that to make.
Okay. We have the motion, the second person, no problem with that.
We have a motion and a second inside a motion and a second?
Yes.
Amendment.
No, it was an amendment. Sorry.
Just checking.
Thank you.
Just checking.
You know, we only got one more to go.
I know.
You're doing good.
Almost. God bless you all.
Keep that, you make it till
Just
9
want to keep
o'clock.
track of
All
what
right.
you're doing.
Any further discussion before we go to the vote? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay.
There are two.
2 nays.
Moving on to LaPorte County EMS. Thank you for staying here for so long. Requesting additional appropriations from Lit Public Safety, Riverboat, Wind Tax, or ARP. Take your pick. There are maintenance contracts. Image Trend for report writing software, $12,028. Stryker cardiac monitors, $24,480. Stryker Lucas CPR devices, $14,044. Stryker cot maintenance, $35,000. And last but not least, NetCloud modem software for $4,059 for totaling $89,611. Do we also want to include corporate compliance for $41,300, gentlemen?
As well.
One peppy game show host here.
Okay.
Yeah, you're saying everything I was gonna say. There you go.
Would you like? Does anybody like to make a motion, or would they like to have him talk?
These are all, can I?
Please.
These are all things that you're currently using in their service contracts.
Yeah, this is nothing new.
This isn't something you
Maintenance
just
on
went out and
all of
bought
our
or you're
equipment
buying.
every year, yeah, and everything becomes, we kind of line it up to be due at the same time, which is due next month. so.
Corporate compliance, explain that one.
Corporate compliance, and we've talked about this before.
I know
This
we
is
have.
where our medical supplies come out. It's a confusing name to that account. I don't know why they named it that, but it's where all of our medical supplies come out: Band-Aids, IV catheters, IV bags, all that.
Everything the hospital doesn't reimburse.
Yep, so we have to buy it all after every single call. And on that account, we're averaging just over $8,000 a month. Prices are a little bit high lately with everything. So we're averaging about 8,000, which puts us, in a need for about 41.3 just to get through the rest of the year. So is what we've
Motion to approve out of public safety lit.
We have a motion to approve out of public safety lit.
Don't think?
We're supposed to have enough funds.
Does the auditor's office feel comfortable with it? Very comfortable.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there further discussion?
Yes, sir. So as I see, we're asking for about $130,000 out of here. We've already spent $500 at the top of the meeting for wages. It looks like that we have, coming out of public safety lit, the consoles, it doesn't show as marked as paid, but it was $605,693.21
Consoles for what?
for E911.
It was listed in the motions as support, but it hasn't been recorded as paid yet, I think.
I don't think is Barb Stott still here? Those, I don't think the projected date of those coming, it's in the future. I'd have to double check and see what the date of that.
And then we also have one more for $540,000 for 2 new ambulances.
Those aren't coming
which is
till-
next year and the year after.
Next year.
So
Yeah, those
we're
are
due,
subsequent.
but according to the numbers we had earlier, we would be at about 858,000 at the end of this year. How far overspent can we go?
We can't overspend it at all, but it says 858 through the end of the year.
Yes,
That's after that 500. Is it million?
500, the 500 at the top?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's after that. I do a check register, so that one is not included in that 800.
Okay.
You're good.
I'm gonna,
Use a different account.
separately, I'm gonna ask that we put the September, October, and November, because I don't wanna waste time in November for 50,000, just to put them all for approval for the proposed merit and the proposed poll raises, all on the
year?
September meeting. And because we know, for the
next
October
month?
2nd meeting, so please advertise for the same.
Yep.
Thank
And just to clarify what we were talking about, you can't overspend that account, not allowed, we'll make sure that you don't. But what we found out from the DLGF last time we asked was as long as there's guaranteed funds, you can spend beyond what your current balance is,
Correct.
but not overspend for the end of the year. We won't allow it.
Thank you for the educated clarification.
Okay, so is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any nays?
Nay.
Okay, that motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're now up to council and attorney comments. Attorney, would you like to go first?
So we're making very good progress with the flood process, with the flood project downstairs. We had that whole area bisqueened. So the IT stuff is gone. Health department stuff will be gone this week. And the prosecutor is meeting with the industrial hygienist on Thursday to get through that stuff. So then we'll be able to have the downstairs cleared out, which would be good for adult probation.
Mr. DiMartino, is that also the hallway too, the stuff in the hallway?
Yes, that's what we're talking about. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your continued efforts on that project.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay, anybody else on the council would like to make any comments at this time?
Yeah. We've kind of alluded to it on and off throughout the meeting about hiring a financial advisor, bring them on to help look at what our anticipated cash balance is at the end of the year, clarity on why our property tax revenue is declining, and how do we make sure that we are not running a deficit budget in 2024. I'd like to make a motion that we bring on a financial advisor, pending a legal review by Mr. DiMartino, to help advise us on those matters.
Mr. President, second that, please. Second. Third. Or third, whatever.
We have a motion and a second it's to bring on a financial advisor different from what we already have.
It could be the same as what we already have, just somebody to help advise us on it.
So real quick question what the answer was earlier, I was trying, so I didn't say it good enough. What I meant was the commission, going from the commission, we appropriate both those funds the commissioners have excess funds for. That's why we use those services from those vendors. They would not have the funding for it. That's what I was trying to cover. I apologize for that.
Right. So if we go back to COVID relief and ARP, the commissioners hired Carl Sender to do their stuff, but you all made the decision on your own to hire Baker Tilly for yours. So Mr. Auditor informed me that at the reorganizational meeting that they were both approved by the commission. So once I check that meeting just to make sure, then if you all want to retain Baker Tilly, I don't see a problem. But you will have to fund it at some point in time.
I think that's
Yeah,
great.
that's.
That'd be
I
fun.
think the funding is implied. The commissioner shouldn't worry about us leeching off of them or anything.
Wait, is this a favorable vote?
You keep talking.
We haven't done anything. We haven't done anything yet. Don't be snarky.
Okay, we've had discussion. We've had a motion and a second.
I had to get.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any nays? We're good. I'm waiting for the last motion.
Motion.
Mr. President, if I may.
Yes, you may.
All right. So early in the meeting, we had mentioned about meeting with HR candidates. I asked that between the commissioners that I see still signed in and yourself, if we could get an executive session underway in order to formalize what we're going to do with Human Resources Director, and it also make a recommendation that we, during that session or the meeting to follow on, we discuss the potential for an HR director's board of sorts that provides expectations to human resources. It sounds like there's been quite the evolution from where human resources was originally managed through the county planner to then being a director position to where now we actually have a director position that actually has some expectations coming from the senior leadership of the county.
Perhaps an advisor.
I concur.
That would be an appropriate term.
Would be a correct term, so. Yeah, I think that would be great.
Is that okay.
Just suggestion.
So I will be in contact with
It'd be nice to get it scheduled
soon.
before the middle of September so that we can.
Not to be a damper on things, but if you're all going to have an advisory board that's going to take in information and then report to the commission and report to the council, you're going to be bound by the open door law, just so you all know. I don't want any, so before you plan things, just know that that's out there.
Okay.
Motion adjourned.
Oh, wait.
Sir, sure.
He tried to sneak that by me, wasn't he?
No, I didn't get a chance to turn my head. It's
Real quickly, obviously I voted nay on many items this evening, and I want to make an explanation on that. Page 4 is the clearest. LaPorte County Clerk requesting an appropriation from the Clerk's Perpetuation Fund. Call it what you want. Legally, we have to say it's an appropriation, but realistically, it's a transfer out of her perpetuation fund into her spending fund. We're letting her spend her own money, technically. The next one says requesting additional appropriation. And those were the ones I was adamant about not spending at this point in time. Thank you.
Okay, now we have a motion to adjourn on the floor. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Everything else.